Am I allowed to curse? I won't curse.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
I can?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just mark it as explicit. Welcome to the Big Dane podcast. I'm your host, Dana Trimborn, and in this podcast, find the connection in the weird experiences that we all share. Listen to new episodes on Tuesdays wherever you get your podcasts. Hey friends, in this week's episode, I'm chatting with Jani Rad, Healthcare Operations Director, podcast host, and entrepreneur, and we'll get into her weird things that she does in her daily routine. Find out what she likes to schedule in her calendar. You may want to adopt this idea. Welcome, Jani.
Hi. Good to be here.
I'm so excited that you're on
Me
with
too.
me.
So fun.
I guess one of my last episodes before I took a little break was being on Jani's podcast. So now doing the return here and just happy to have her on. So before we get into everything, tell the listeners a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from.
I love it. Well, I could say a lot of things as my intro was this, comma, this, and this. But I basically, I have a main job. My main job is like the, traditional 9-to-5 job. I have one of those and I love it. I am a director at one of the largest healthcare systems in Memphis, Tennessee. It's the oldest hospital in the state of Tennessee, one of the oldest public hospitals. It's a level 1 trauma center. It's wonderful. Absolutely love my job there. They basically run the analytics for the hospital. I help with strategic planning, and I'm also starting a data visualization company with my hospital. So love that job. But the other things that I do that make me a well-rounded human being is that I am a public speaker. I'm a mental health and racial justice trainer and professional development trainer, and I have my own podcast.
Wow. Renaissance woman here.
I try.
That's wonderful. And that's a lot to take on, I feel like.
Yeah.
Got a lot going on, but you're doing great.
Yeah.
Doing an amazing job.
I take it one day at a time. I take it 1 hour at a time. I live on my
There you
calendar.
go.
I literally take it 1 hour at a time.
All right, this is what's going on in this hour. Let's
Yeah.
stay in the moment here.
Exactly.
Nice. Okay, to get to know you a little bit better, let's do some fun and interesting questions. What's the worst purchase you've made?
Okay. I have a few, but okay, let me think of the absolute worst one. So, I got it. Okay. So, Instagram, right?
Sure do.
So there are these sneaky little devils called Instagram ads, and they're not always honest. I feel like I have not learned my lesson, and I have succumbed to far too many Instagram ads. And there was an ad for a mug, and the mug had some cute saying on it. I think it was something from The Office, and they called it was like a mini mug. And so I thought that it was going to be like a cappuccino mug or something.
Yeah, you would think.
You'd think. And also the picture of the mini mug was it on a desk. It was going to be something cute that I could put on my office because I have my other mug that said the world's best boss. And then this was going to be another Dunder Mifflin-esque cup mug to put next to it. Am I allowed to curse? I won't curse.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
I can.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just mark it as explicit.
I shit you not, folks. This mini mug was the size of my pinky nail.
Oh my God.
So I think the gimmick wasn't, look at this mug with a saying. It was, look how small this mini mug is. So I've lost it since then because it's the size of a Mother Goose and
like a
thimble.
crumb. That is literally insane. Wait, how was it packaged? How did it
Oh,
arrive?
in a large box. I mean,
I'm
yeah, but the box was like maybe the size of my hand. So like there wasn't anything right when I opened it where I was like, "Oh, this is appropriate for a mini mug." And then it was like I took out more of the bubble wrap and I was like, "Oh my God, they didn't put it in here." And then like there was one bubble wrap that was like taped and I was like, "What?" So I started
Oh
opening
my
it thinking
God.
that they probably just sent the wrong thing. Like I'm already like about to pull up customer service review. And no, it's in there. It's just, it's not mini, it's microscopic.
My
False
God.
advertising, Instagram, and I have fallen for that many times.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but that's a great
It
story.
was a good story. Really sad though.
Well, let's get right into your daily routine. Let's think about, in the morning or beginning part of your day, all the way to the end of the day at night.
I love it.
What goes on, Jani Rad?
Well, like I said, I live by my calendar. So I'm definitely going to be mentioning some things where it is very evident that I live hour to hour. That was not an exaggeration. Oh, my dogs are barking downstairs. Do you hear that?
Nope.
Cool. I'm just going to blow right past that. So when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is I check my calendar because I need to know like I mentioned, I have like 7 jobs. So I need to know like exactly what hour of the day I'm doing. And I'm very fortunate to have a job where they're very supportive of all my other jobs. So sometimes I work my jobs during my jobs. Like it's like it's like inception
That's
of
great.
jobs. Yeah, it's like job and job and
Yeah.
job. Um, and so because of that, I don't have to like I don't it's in my brain, it's not like, okay, 9 to 5, I work at the hospital, 5 p.m., shut off, and then work on the other ones. It's like literally every hour. I'm literally living in the moment. And then as soon as it hits the like 5 minutes for the next hour, like I'll get a calendar invitation. I'm like, okay, cool, gotta switch gears, gotta do this other thing. Um, that also means that like I'm very prone to like overbooking myself. So like I have to make sure that I'm giving time to myself. So
Sure. Yeah.
all that to say, I'm going to give you an example of my whole day. So I wake up in the morning. I just sound like I'm singing like a Kesha song. Wake up every morning. Okay. So I wake up every morning on a weekday and I start my work day. And the first thing that I do is I wake up as on most days as the director at my hospital. That's my first hat that I wear. And we always start with the morning meeting. And for my morning meeting, this is one of the things that I do in my routine that I pride myself in how weird it is because yes, I work in the executive division, but I like to also say that I'm not a regular boss. I'm a cool boss, if anyone knows what that
Yeah.
90s reference is from. And I ask my team to share their happies and crappies. And I've been told that it is very unconventional. Not a lot of bosses do that. First of all, a lot of people just say, hey, if you're feeling negative Nancy, you leave that negative Nancy attitude out the door and you come in ready to work. I don't subscribe to that because I believe that we're all nuanced human beings. And that if I was having a bad day, I wouldn't want to just like leave my bad day and put on a fake smile like in front of people. Like I would kind of maybe want to give people a heads up and be like, hey, I'm kind of having a rough day today. I'm still going to do my job best as I can, but just know that like this is kind of where my head's at today. So I always like to start with happies and crappies. Happies because like I also want to celebrate. Like if there was something awesome going on in your life, I want to know. Like I'm nosy. Tell me. So that is the first unconventional thing that I do during the day is happies and crappies.
Let me ask you this. How did you get started doing that?
Because I was the recipient of a happy and crappy question. When I was in college, so I essentially worked part-time all through college and grad school. And one of my first jobs was to essentially be like a part-time student advocate, like health education specialist, where we're kind of teaching students kind of how to navigate college and the health and wellness system and stuff like that. And I had a boss. I was a part-time worker. I was a full-time student. And our boss started our meeting with happies and crappies. And she called it happies and crappies. So this was back in, when did I graduate? Like 2013. So this must have been like 2010 or 2011. And now it's 2022. So I've been carrying on this legacy of happies and crappies for quite some time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do your coworkers like it? Like, have you
They do.
gotten any feedback? Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I keep
Hey.
doing it. And I know
that's
they
what
like it because
matters, yeah.
they've told other people. Like it always kind of comes up during like we have these professional development cohort trainings where, managers will kind of say what they're doing and for their teammates, or directors might speak, or even like VPs and executives might speak. Like, like what are you doing to care for your team? Like, how do you check in on each other? And usually like everyone's like, oh, I don't know, like I have our one-on-ones. Like I know what people's professional plans are, or, I know what their like to-dos are for the week. And I'm like, I know everything about my team because I do happies and crappies. And so I get the validation from other leaders because like they want to start doing that in their areas. And then I also get my own team because like, for example, if I'm not there, like sometimes my team, they lead the meeting essentially after we do happies and crappies. And if I'm not there, they'll text each other. They're like happies and crappies, or like,
Oh, no way.
yeah. So like it truly has become like ingrained just in our department's culture, just like checking in on each other.
And maybe it'll go beyond that, beyond to other departments, maybe.
Or to other listeners of your show, y'all. Bring happies and crappies to your workplace. Let's normalize like asking people, how shitty of a mood are you in? And what do I need to be aware of when I'm working with you today? Let's normalize that.
I think that's fair because I think even though people don't want their personal, like, personal stuff just going on, like interfering with work, sometimes it does.
Yeah.
But then you don't know, like, well, why are they responding in this manner to me? Or, you just don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
and all this to say, like, to take it to a serious level, it's like people are people at the end of the day. Like, yes, we are employees, but we're always people first, and we have our lives going on outside of work, and sometimes people's lives can trickle into their work life. And if you really want your employees to be happy, you kind of have to see them as a person first, honestly.
100%. Yeah.
So
well, I like that you do that.
Thank you. And it, I don't necessarily think it's weird, but I've been told it's a very unconventional, strange thing for a leader to do. That doesn't work in like a daycare or a summer camp. Like I work in like in an environment that's like a hospital, a professional environment. And I'm like, all right, so before we, talk about our clinical duties for the day, what's your happies and crappies? But, people love it.
It's great.
Yeah. So I'll keep going with my day and tell you more weird things I do.
After the happies and crappies, and now you're getting going, like, what else, goes on? And I don't know if you are able to work at home at all, but so you're in
I work from home some days of the week, and some days I go in, and it kind of just depends on like on the workload and everything. But there are some times where, whether it's on campus or off campus, I'll try to fit in, like a little walk, or let's say that I'm walking, from a meeting to a meeting, and I just gotta like walk. Always like to walk with purpose, like it doesn't matter where you're going. Always like to walk with purpose, because it just makes me feel important. Like I don't like to mosey. I'm not a mosier. I'm like a strut with confidence, walk with purpose type of woman. Even if I am just going from like one room to another room. But I say this to say that another weird thing I do is when I walk with purpose, I don't just walk to the empty space within my mind. I walk to my inner soundtrack, which is the song. And this song, I think, is from SNL. I honestly have been doing it now for so long that I'm starting to second guess where I know this song from. I don't remember if it was like a viral video when we were growing up, or SNL or what. But it's a song called I'm Awesome. And it's a very bad rap, as in like, it's not very catchy. Here, I've pulled up the lyrics here. I'll just give you like,
all right, let's hear it.
Like
let's
5 seconds of it, but it's
so
like
you're walking to your next meeting.
I'm awesome. A quarter of my life gone by, and I met all my friends online. Mother, I'm awesome. I will run away from a brawl. I'm awesome. There's a voicemail nobody called. I'm awesome. I can't
Yeah,
afford to buy
yeah,
8 balls,
yeah.
and I talk to myself on my Facebook wall. I'm awesome.
Okay, let's take a quick break. For a limited time only, you'll have free access to my coffee page. No, not actual coffee. This is a place for all exclusive content that won't be on my Instagram or Facebook accounts. Check out sneak peeks, behind the scenes, extra audio clips, and much more. Just have a tap on my link tree, look out for that coffee cup icon, and boom, you'll be on your way.
You get the gist of it.
This sounds very familiar. So
Yeah, it was either a viral video or SNL, but like they're not great lyrics. And
yeah,
sometimes I'm literally just marching to the beat of "I'm awesome,
yeah,
I'm
but
awesome,
this beat
I'm
it sounds
awesome."
familiar.
Yeah, that song really keeps me energized.
I'm gonna start singing that in my head now.
I mean, it not only is a confidence booster, but it really does just kind of make you walk with a little pep in your step. So, I don't know. Sometimes, hey, if you're navigating and struggling with imposter syndrome, just tell yourself that you're awesome, and maybe you'll honestly believe it at the end of the day.
Love that idea. I mean, for me, while I'm not like, because I work at home 100% of the time, I'm not walking to a next meeting, but I can like, just like be getting ready for my next Microsoft Teams
There
meeting
you go.
and just mentally jam out to that.
Exactly. Like some people have mantras like keep going, like accomplish
Yeah,
more today than you did yesterday. And mine is basically a mantra. It's just the lyrics to I'm awesome.
it's great.
Say it enough and you believe it. Well, anyways, my day keeps going. And
Okay.
like I just mentioned, I'm go, 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 got a lot of jobs. And all of a sudden, I will get a calendar notification that says time for fun. And that is because I schedule in my calendar fun time.
Yes.
And here's the thing, I have a justification for this weird thing because it has literally popped up on my phone and people are like, are you
What
actually
is
having
that?
fun? Like you have to like tell yourself to have fun? Like do you just suck at life that much that you can't like figure that out on your own? And here's the justification. I am so go, go, go. And I have a lot of different priorities that to me, I don't want to just make it a whim of the universe that I unplug and relax and have fun. And have fun to me means different things. It could mean, maybe exercise on my bike. It could mean going for a walk and saying I'm awesome. It could mean literally just sitting and doing nothing. It could be watching reruns of Law and Order SVU. But I make sure that I prioritize like self-care, self time, like fun time for Jani. So if I don't
Yes.
have it scheduled in, it's not that it won't happen, but this guarantees that I will have uninterrupted, just like me time in my day.
Yeah.
So I always have it scheduled. I always have fun time. And that just ensures that like I'm just living a balanced life because as much as I do have fun, like I love my work. I love all my works. I love all my jobs. It's all fun. But sometimes you also just need to do nothing. Sometimes you need to switch it up. And fun time on my calendar is like, oh, here we go. I'm gonna watch
It's
some Law
coming
and
up.
Order.
Got my reminder.
Yeah.
No, that's really interesting that you do that, but I get why you do it because, like, you have to have some kind of boundary
Yeah.
for yourself. And hey, if that means, like, let me block my calendar, this is what I'm going to do for the next hour or 2 hours or whatever, I think that's wonderful because then you are taking care of yourself. You are paying attention and, like, being self-aware, because I'm sure there's many people out there that, are juggling a lot of things, but then they don't set any time for themselves. And I
Yeah.
think, how do you not do that? So
Yeah,
I think
agreed.
that's
And
wonderful.
people often ask me, like, how do you? Like, how do you balance all the things that you do? And my answer is like, people may not really like it, but it's like, I truly believe I live in the moment. I live in the moment so much, literally just enjoying and taking every minute of the day and just soaking it up in, wow, soaking all of it in,
You
that
got it.
I need a calendar notification that says, hey girl, time to go to the next
Yeah.
thing. And if that next thing is, okay, now you literally have nothing blocked on your calendar, just like take a minute. I love that. And I will say this, like, I do this even in my work calendar too. Like I will block off times that say, don't accept any meetings. Like this is your task time. Don't accept any meetings at 12 o'clock. This is your lunch time. Like I do this with all areas of my life. I have in my calendar, like when I'm going to be going to the gym, and I also block off the time that I know I'm going to be commuting. So this is also great for multitasking because like in a color code, I'll know, okay, so for this 15 minutes, I'm going to be commuting. I can actually, I can take a phone call during this time. So maybe let me do a client call or let me check in on a friend or let me take a Teams meeting in the car. But like, I've become really good at multitasking because I've just become really strategic and comfortable with my calendar. Some people, my husband, might argue that I'm a little too attached to my calendar because the most romantic thing he did one time was he sent me a calendar invitation for a date.
Oh,
it just made me feel really seen, you know?
like, oh my gosh.
So anyway, maybe I take it a little too far sometimes, but it's a system that works for me. And I don't know, if you're and someone that likes it, if you like organization, I really would give it a try.
This is for you.
Yeah.
So how did you get started, like doing it so granular like this? Was it, because obviously you didn't have the podcast, for your whole life. And then becoming an entrepreneur, that came a little later too. When do you think, like, was it kind of just like, oh my gosh, now I have like so much going on and I have to do this, this, and this, that it just kind of happened? Or like, do you remember a point in time where you figured, you know what, I gotta start to put fun in the calendar here, need some independence time?
Astute question. I will be honest and say that I think I gotta thank my mom and dad for this because ever since I've always been like this. Like whether it's professional jobs or whether it's just like the after school activities, volunteering, whatever, I've always been like this. So like even in middle school, I would wake up at 7 o'clock, I would practice the piano for an hour. Then I would go to school, and literally school, I mean, when you're a kid, that's already kind of blocked off for you. You have certain things that, schedules and whatever. So that's like your work time. And then after that, it was like, I knew exactly like, I have soccer on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays. I have theater rehearsals Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then, do my activities. Then I have, 1 hour where I eat and I play with the dog, or I have my me time. Like I was allowed, like after eating, I got a little bit of me time. And then it was, okay, 2 hours to do my homework because girl likes to sleep. Girl's going to be asleep by 11 o'clock. So
yeah,
I think that I think I just got instilled with that, like, hey, you
like
can do a lot of things. Like, I think I probably grew up in a household that really valued like what we would call like productivity, like using your time really efficiently to maximize like the life you're getting out of your minutes in the day. And I think I just learned how to do that at a young age. And then when it was time for me to figure it out, I was like, all right, cool. Like I can prioritize my own calendar now. And then I think it just morphed from there.
Nice. That's very interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that it started so young for you.
I wouldn't have guessed that either until you asked me that question. So great question.
Oh my gosh.
Because even my weekends were like that.
Yeah.
I grew up with a lot of structure. I probably hated it when I was a kid, to be honest. And now I love it.
Oh my God, I love structure. I need it. How about like anything else, like maybe at night, like to wind down after work or get ready for bed?
Ooh, yeah.
In particular?
I mean, it's probably not, this is probably not something that I do often, but it depends on my mood. And this kind of goes back to like the fun time. I still watch, like, I know we're like in the time of like streaming, but I still watch like network television, NBC shows. And so that's also, I don't know, some people might find that weird that they're like, what are you watching? Are you sit on Netflix? And I'm like, no, it's on NBC cable. Like, what?
Yes. No,
Like,
I will
I
watch,
wait a
yeah,
week
like
for a show.
ABC stuff. Yeah. Like I still watch Grey's Anatomy. Like, don't hate
Yeah.
me, but
Yeah, like I watched New Amsterdam, Law and Order SVU. I watched This Is Us when it was here. Like I love a good NBC drama.
yeah.
And yeah, I will wait a whole week. I will watch that. But then I also will like watch reruns of things too, like a normal person. I'll binge I'll binge watch television. But yeah, I mean I love a good just like wind down with a TV show or a book on my Kindle, which I guess those aren't super weird. I guess the weird thing about me is that I am a grown up and I do have a bedtime. Maybe that's the weird thing.
So how late would you say? Or how early would you say?
Oh, I like to be in bed by 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I will
That
like to be
is
in REM by
early.
11.
REM. Have you learned that about yourself? Like, if I do go to bed at 10, like, do you have like an Apple Watch or something like that that will tell you you hit REM
Yeah,
at
yeah,
11?
yeah.
Yeah.
I do, but I was gonna say I can always tell. Like, I don't need my Apple Watch to be like, "Hey, you didn't get a good night's sleep." Like, if I wake up and I'm a big old B word, I'm like, I know I did not get enough sleep.
Yes. Yeah.
I can tell that within 10 seconds of waking up the next morning. So,
Oh
for
my
everyone's
gosh.
sake, you want me to go to bed at 10 o'clock.
Do you have to, well, is the reason why you go to bed on the earlier side because you have to get up earlier to then commute into work,
Well,
would
not
you
really,
say?
because my commute
No?
is only 7 minutes, even on the days I do go in. But I think it's
That's
because
very
so from
close.
but going back to my calendar, from the moment
Yeah.
I wake up, I'm already in multitask mode because I wake up at 7 and then I'm either on my exercise bike or I'm running outside or I'm taking my team's
Woohoo.
meeting while I'm on the exercise bike. So that's another thing. And then I wake up, I have the same thing for breakfast every single day. It's a smoothie. And then on the days that my partner is going to work, I take out the dogs. So like I
Yeah.
give myself enough
You
time in the
really have it.
morning
Yeah.
to do all my activities. I sound
Wow.
really square when I say all this, but I promise I'm quite fun.
She's a lot of fun. No, I mean, hey, whatever works for you. And I think having that structure and having your handy dandy calendar
Yeah.
ready to go, I think,
Yeah.
hey, that's great. If
It
that's going
works
to
for
help you
me. Yeah.
get through the day and beyond,
Yeah. And I
do
and
it.
I think and I will say like going back I'm reflecting again on your question. Like I think these habits started when I was a kid because I was exposed to like hey, here is what structure and like calendar and scheduling can do. But I probably didn't like really lean into that and tap into it as an adult. Maybe until since I was in maybe grad school because then at that point it also became like that was my way of coping with like mental health stuff too.
Okay.
Because I can get overwhelmed really easily. Like I don't want to make it
Sure,
sound like I
yeah.
have it, I have it all figured out and whatever. Definitely, I'm far from that. So like I have definitely have struggled with a lot of mental health issues. Like I have very bad anxiety and depression. So for me, being able to lean on a calendar gives me a little bit of stability and it gives me that sense of
Sure.
groundedness. So in all
Yeah.
honesty, like that's really why I do it. So, if
Yeah.
people out there are struggling with anxiety or depression or that feeling of like not feeling grounded, then maybe the calendar life is for you. It allows me to live in
Yeah.
the moment, take it day by day, and then I got a little machine telling me like, "Hey, time to switch gears, time to do something else."
Yeah, no, I'm glad you pointed that out, because, yeah, I mean, I'll get overwhelmed, and if it's like something with work or not related with work, and I'm feeling like the anxiety, it's like, what is that to help me, feel more grounded?
Yeah.
And yeah, if it has to do with like, getting yourself more organized, then maybe, yeah, people can look to this calendar idea to help them feel like, okay, no, like I got everything, everything's planned for today or, tomorrow. Like it's not like a worry, I guess,
Yeah.
and that I think would just kind of ease the mind, I would think, if you are feeling like anxious.
Yeah. And I will say this, like pro tip, if you're not a calendar person, and after this I've inspired you to take on the calendar life, is calendar life is great for structure, but you also have to be willing to be flexible. So what I mean by that is, let's say that you have this whole thing, minute by minute, or 15 minutes at a time if you're like me, how you have this calendar. You also have to be ready to navigate the unexpected or navigate the uncertainty. Or like for me, when I got married and I have another person to consider, like I can't put my entire schedule on top of, someone else's life and put that on them. Like you're gonna have to figure out ways to say, okay, out of these 20 things that I have scheduled, what are the 5 things that I want to prioritize and make sure that that stuff stays stable? And what are some other things that I can be flexible with? So
Absolutely.
wanted to put that caveat
That's a good
there.
point. Yeah.
That it's not like a drill sergeant. Like you're still in charge of your life.
You can hit delete at any time.
Yeah, you can hit reschedule.
Cancel.
You can hit snooze. Like it's still your life.
Yeah.
You are still in charge of the little robot. And structure with flexibility, like that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah. Fabulous. Well, I love that. And thank you for sharing all your great tips of your calendar life and your whole routine.
Yeah.
So thanks again for coming on. If the listeners want to get in touch with you, where is the best way they can reach out and say hello or just chat?
Yeah. Well, I got a few things. So you can find basically everything that I do on my website, and that's probably the best way to contact me. JaniRad.com is my website. It's just my name, JNIRAD. You can message me through the website, or you can just send an email to hello@JaniRad.com. And then I am on the socials. It's janirad.me on Instagram. You can listen to my podcast. It's called What's on Your Mind. Basically, they are unscripted conversations with people all around the world, because we're all people at heart with interesting perspectives and stories. And it's one of my favorite things that I do. And then I also mentioned that I see clients. So if you are interested in doing some professional development coaching, or if you want me to come speak to your organization, you're inspired and you want to hear more words, then you can hire me as a speaker or a trainer.
Do it. Nice. Love all of that. And yeah, I hope everyone found connection here with Jani's routine, from when she wakes up and gets into work and talks about the happies and crappies into the rest of her day and her fun calendar.
Yeah. And don't forget that I'm awesome, y'all. Seriously, find a song that just energizes the crap out of you.
Yeah, that seriously is going to bug me, because I swear it, like, the beat sounds very familiar, but I think it's just like a, what's the word? I don't know, but
I'll send you the video. It's like this like basic looking white guy that's just like sitting in front of a computer rapping these lyrics. So it's nothing like fancy.
Yes.
But clearly it's had such an impact on my life.
Great. All right. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll catch everyone next week.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. All right, my friends. Thanks for listening, and be sure to listen to new episodes on your preferred platform. Stay up to date with my podcast by going to my Instagram or Facebook accounts at the Big Dane Podcast. Interested in being a guest? Just go to my link tree, tap on Be a Guest, and fill out the form. All right, catch you next week.